Welcome back to No Cap Recaps. I'm your host, Denzel, and today we will be recapping Civil War. I had to make sure I had to go see this movie. This was the one that I had to go see. So, Civil War. Do not take your kids to go see this movie. If you suffer from PTSD, this movie may be difficult for you to watch. Let me tell you something. You know A24, and you know how A24 does it. When they make a movie, they make a movie. And when that movie comes out, trust and believe they are going to always push the envelope. Civil War pushed the envelope. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out, right? So there's one side, the Western Front, then there's the Texas people, then there's the Florida people, then there's the North Carolinians. This is how the movie broken out. Here's the map. I just want to show you the map right there real quick. Boom, there's the map. That's how it's broken out, right? So the movie starts with the president who's serving his third term, who's removed the FBI from their power and placement. And this is the same president that has used bombs on the American citizens. So I'm just painting that picture there. He comes out and he states, we are the closest that we've ever been to victory. And the California front and the Texas front can still join back up with us if they so choose. That's how he starts. But mind you, as he's speaking, there's flashes of rioting, there's flashes of fighting, civil unrest. All of these things are going on right then, right? Kristen Dunst from Bring It On. Yeah, her, right? She's playing Lee Smith, the veteran journalist, combat journalist at that. And boom, a bomb is set off. The very first thing that she goes right into is into what she knows, which is taking pictures and capturing the chaos as it unfolds. The government actually views the media as combatants. And so the journalist team decides to go up to DC and meet with the president on their own whim, no invite, no anything. So they're just going to show up. This is what they think. This is how this whole story starts. They're 800 miles away from DC. And as you know, between that 800 miles into DC, there's a lot of stuff they are covering. There are very extremely graphic images that this movie displays. It's showing you the realities of war, conflict, and all the dark things that the world typically shields you from your day-to-day TV program. Let's put it that way. It even brings up the US dollar and how it's collapsed and how it's worth literally nothing, right? It was a very grounding effect as I had to come to the realization, oh my gosh, the US dollar isn't worth anything anymore. Canadian dollars was worth more. $300 would get you a sandwich. If you think about that, $300 US would get you a sandwich. That was it. Other things that I noticed within the movie is that, as you know, A24 will make sure that they have all the detail in the world, right? They are always in tune with everything that they're doing. There was one part that I noticed was a man that was willing to torture other men, and he had a cross around his neck. And so he's like, hey, what do you want me to do with them? Like just random kind of questions. These kinds of images and dialogues and scenes were so unsettling throughout the movie. I mean, so be ready for it. It's all I'm trying to let you know. This movie really showed you war and what it would look like if it was in America today. And it's something that you've never seen. I guarantee you. Like we've seen zombie movies. We played zombie games. We've seen post-apocalyptic movies and played those games as well, right? So this movie gives you something totally different. This isn't overseas. These are in our streets that we would go on an evening cruise, right? Like typically you take the family out, drop the windows, listening to some good music. Those are the streets that I started to gravitate to and start to think about, like, this could be in my neighborhood, right? Along with that is that these are the neighbors that deserted their homes that I would have over for Friday night dinner. These are the restaurants that your teenager would go to on their first date. And then to top it off, there are peaceful neighborhoods that if you keep driving a few more miles down the road, it looks like war is not even touching. And those individuals are purposely denying that the war even exists. There's a phrase in the movie that stuck out to me. Jesse's one of the younger journalist that is inspired by Lee Smith. And Lee turns and tells her, that's a great photo. But it's a hard phrase to hear because that photo is the last moments of that man's life before he passes away due to a conflict. All I could remember and hear in the photo was his screams. I could only hear his panic and his fear that he would meet the inevitable, in which that he did, and him coming to his own demise. There was another phrase that stuck out to me, and it was, "What kind of American are you?" That part, I will not spoil that scene because the trailer even has that scene and that statement in it. But when you get to that part in that movie, it ain't no game. Let me tell you, A24 really, I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you. All I can say is that movie's a 10. That's all I can say, truly. Because just the rifles and the sounds of the rifles were unsettling. They just hit different. It wasn't a normal militant war kind of a movie, because that brought you to right now, 2024. That movie was not a 10 out of 10 because, oh, that was great. That movie was a 10 out of 10 because it wakes you up to what could potentially happen and what it would potentially look like. I think that there's no other movie out right now that depicts what war would look like in America like A24's Civil War. The ending is insane. They still give you the piece of tying the whole story back together. They still tell you a story, and it still isn't just about people fighting each other and different forces are fighting against each other. It's not about that. A24 still does a great job about completing the story and giving you the ending. So with that, that is my recap. I will tell any and everyone, go watch that movie, but make sure that you're ready to watch the movie because it's something that I think people need to watch, because I believe peace is very fragile and it could resemble something close to what that movie displayed. So with that, make sure that you go like and watch them other videos. Hey, don't mind this over here. All right. First off, don't mind all that. We be having tornadoes up here in Ohio, so we got to be ready. That's why there's stuff down here. So don't be making fun of me about all this stuff in the background. But until next time, that is my recap. Y'all be easy.